Welcome back to Blue Collar Speed and Repair. We're going to do something a little different in this video. If you've been following along with our 59 Apache here, you know we've been doing a lot of work to it, and it's getting closer and closer to getting back on the road. We're going to step out of our comfort zone a little bit. We're going to try to patina mesh some doors. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I've never done it before. Let's see what happens. So if you've been following along with this project, first of all, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you coming back. If you haven't been following along, if you're new here, try to catch up to speed a little bit. We bought this 59 Apache from a guy that bought it out of a field. I have no idea how long it's been sitting. It's fairly rough. Obviously, it's got a very nice patina to it. It needs to be cleaned up still, of course, but we've done a ton of work to it. He bought it, I guess decided not to continue with the project, put it up for sale. We bought it. The wing windows in the door and the doors were sitting inside the cab, and they were completely rotten. I have no idea how long this sat around with no wing windows in it and having the inside of the doors open to the elements. So when we got into inspecting this thing, we found a lot of rust on these doors. They are really, really bad. Let me grab a light. See a little bit better. So there is a lot of cancer in these doors, and it's like that all the way around on both of them. Some spots are smaller, some spots are obviously bigger. You see this door's way worse. Now most of that's relatively flat metal and could probably be sectioned in by somebody that was skilled at that. I'm not very skilled at that. Some of it's a little worse than others. For instance, all this stuff that's flat, I could probably figure it out and make it look okay. If you look at the inside panel of this door, not only does it curve this way, it also curves that way. I don't have the skill set to build that piece of metal. I know there's plenty of people out there that can. I'm not one of them. I know my limitations, right? If I tried that, it would just be a mangled up piece of metal, be a mess probably. So I've been scouring Marketplace and online trying to find a used set of doors in this color with no luck. My original plan was I bought a set of doors, obviously, and I was going to cut the skins off of those doors and the skins off of these doors and put that skin on this shell. But that kind of scares the heck out of me also. A lot of cutting, a lot of grinding, a lot of heat. I didn't want to end up ruining the patina doors, and B, ruining a new set of doors. Because ultimately, if I mess that up, these become worthless. So I figured there's been plenty of people out there that have done it. Let's try to patina match it and see what happens. I've never done it before. I don't really know what I'm doing. I've watched a bunch of videos. I've read a bunch of stuff online. So I figured let's just try it and see what happens. If the patina match doesn't really work out, then maybe we'll revisit the cutting the skins off and putting them on these shells and try that route. Maybe we'll have better luck if this doesn't work. But all right, let me get some tools out, kind of get set up, get to work. So you'll notice I've done a little behind the scenes work already. I've got these coated in a brown primer, and in the interest of time, I went ahead and did the brown primer. These come in a black epoxy primer already, but I went with the brown because it matches really well to the primer that's showing through on the cab, which I know the light that doesn't show up that well, but it also matches the primer showing through on the doors really well. So the plan is to put blue paint over the top of these doors and then sand down and scuff down and scratch, or however we decide to do it, to give it the worn look to make the brown primer show through, essentially like it is on the rest of the pickup. Obviously that's rust, but that's brown primer showing through. That's brown primer showing through. Up in here, that's actually brown primer showing through. Obviously there's rust and whatnot elsewhere, but the point is to try to take these doors and make them look 67 years old, if at all possible. And I guess we're going to try doing that by sanding and scuffing and beating and scraping, and I don't know yet. We're going to let our imagination run wild and see what happens. So next step, let's get blue paint on these doors. So according to the tag that's still on our door jamb, paint code is 707, which is Dawn Blue, D-A-W-N, Dawn Blue. Went to the local paint shop, had it mixed up. I guess we can double check this real quick. I hit an area. Shadows are annoying, but on the cab behind the door here, I hit this with soapy water and a Scotch-Brite. That should be that same exact color. The problem is, of course, this is faded and, again, 67 years old, but our job is to make it look weathered. So we're going to try it. And I, again, don't know what's going to happen, but we will see. Before we get to mixing, I did want to point out, I'm going to go over this whole thing, both these doors, with some Scotch-Brite. This is actually a really light duty. It's not like your typical green Scotch-Brite. These are from, I think, the dollar store or something, but just going to take this kind of sheen off of it like spray paint does. Just so this new paint sticks really good. As well as, I don't know if it shows up, but there's like some thumbprints and fingerprints from me moving around. And I guess you can kind of see it there, how I just kind of took the sheen off and broke through that top layer. So I'm gonna hit these real quick, then we'll get to mixing up the paint, get these sprayed real quick. Got our doors all sanded down. Went in and wiped them all down with a paint prep stuff like grass wax and grease remover. Sorry, brain stopped working. Get this paint mixed up. It's mixed 1-to-1 with this reducer. This is the point where I tell you that I am not a professional painter in any way, shape, or form. If you're looking for tips and tricks, I'm not it. In fact, this is a base coat, as in not a single stage. And per the spec sheets and all that, it says clear coat within 1 hour and up to 24 hours afterwards. We're not doing that. We're gonna sand and scuff and all that stuff. The whole truck's gonna end up clear coated at some point anyway. So I'm not too concerned about it. I know the specs say to, you know, if it's after 24 hours, then you have to sand and recoat and all that stuff. We're not doing any of that. We are going to try our best here to figure this out. Now, I don't think we need a whole cup here. So I'm going to start with half. So 1-to-1 goes up to 6. I'm going to do up to 3 and probably make a mess. And I should have got a paper towel, and I did not, because I did not plan ahead. Got most of it. All right, I don't believe you need to shake or stir any of this. Got blue paint on my hands already. Imagine that. We end up just above the 3 line, so we'll go just above the next 3 line. Right, like that. Real accurate measurements, I know. All right, I'm gonna mix this up really good. I'm gonna fire the compressor because I forgot, and get back with you when we're ready to spray it. All right, I think we're ready to go. Got everything mixed up. Did a couple test sprays over there. I did neglect to mention before, I put the same brown paint on the rockers. I'm sure you can see that in the background. That's gonna get the blue as well. All right, again, not a professional. I don't know what I'm doing. That ain't it. Not laying down all that great, but again, I'm not a professional. All right, I'm gonna go do the rocker arms, 5 to 10 minute flash time. We'll do a second coat. All right, 2 coats down. They're obviously really shiny right now. We'll have to dull all that down with some sandpaper and some Scotch-Brite and stuff. I apologize, it's still really hazy in here. I turned the fan off for a moment. There is some speckles and stuff in it. That's all right. This is all getting sanded. We don't want it perfect in any way. I did do the rockers. Again, they're shinier. But hopefully that'll dull down. I think the color itself is fairly close. We won't know until it's done, right? I did hit this with just some soapy water and a Scotch-Brite, just real quick. Got most of this kind of white stuff off. Obviously it needs more. The whole truck's gonna have to get done at some point before we clear coat it. So I don't know exactly how long this stuff takes to dry. I think you can tape it in 45 minutes. And again, you're supposed to clear in an hour to 24 hours or something like that. I think I'm gonna let it sit overnight just to be 100% sure. I don't wanna try to sand or anything and peel paint off. So I'm gonna put my mask back on, turn the fan on. I got a gun to clean, and then I'm gonna get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, it's a new day. Our doors dried overnight, and they turned out really, really good. They do have quite a bit of shine to them. Of course, that's the light shining on it, but there's not a way I can do this that doesn't have a gloss to it. Nope, not really. They turned out really good, other than they are quite a bit shinier. Remember, 67-year-old paint, 12-hour-old paint. So you can really see it here between rocker panel and the original. The color's really, really good, other than this has a little bit of shine to it, which we kind of knew that going in, or I did. So I think first step is we're going to try to dull this with some sandpaper and some Scotch-Brite just to take the sheen off of it, and then we'll get into the actual patina part and try to sand through some areas. And honestly, I'm going to try to damage them, really. I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of watching videos and stuff like that, and really the best way to do is kind of let your imagination run wild. So I don't know if we're going to hit it with a chain. I don't know if we're going to stab it with a screwdriver, or not stab it, but gouge it with a screwdriver, wire brush. I don't know what's going to happen. So let's start with dulling them down. Let's do that first, and then we'll probably mount them on the truck and see if our colors kind of match, and then we'll go from there. Before we get into sanding, I wanted to talk about something really quick. I kind of did some playing around before I went in last night, kind of testing for later projects or later steps. I went over this area with a DA sander and some Scotch-Brites and stuff like that, trying stuff out and see what kind of works and what doesn't. Honestly, soapy water and a Scotch-Brite seem to do the best. I have some like 320 and some 600 on a DA, and it didn't really do that much. I did try 180 and went too far. Oops. So 180 is not a good thing. It's too aggressive, which I should have known that. I know there are some accelerated rust techniques. We might try that to blend that back in, because I don't really want bare metal showing through. But so I just want to show you that real quick. And then the other thing I noticed is if you look, that blue is darker than that blue. This is a little bit lighter. I don't know if it's because of the different primers or how it works exactly. And of course there's aging processes and all that. Who knows what kind of sun and rain and weather and stuff has been on this in 67 years. Maybe parts of it got more sun than others. I don't know. I did kind of notice something that I wish I would have thought about first. If you notice, the bed has black primer. You can see it poking through there. You can see it poking through there. And then the fenders as well. I went off of the doors having brown primer and the roof of the cab having brown primer. So I went with the brown on our new doors. Arguably, I should have left them black, and we would have worn through the black instead of brown. And we would have had, you know, black, and black. But that's all right. This will look more natural, I think, more factory. Again, there's no rhyme or reason. We don't want it perfect. It's patina, right? It's not supposed to look nice, per se. All right, let me get to sanding. So I did a little bit of a test area with just some Scotch-Brite, and it actually worked really well. Light out of it. Well, there's no good way to do this, is there? That way? Nope, this isn't working. All right, dull spot there versus the shiny of the rest of it. There is no good way to do this, is there? That kind of shows it there. All right, you got the dullness there versus the shininess of the door. That's what we're gonna try to do on the whole thing. I have a DA with a soft pad. I'm gonna start, I think I have 600 and 320 and then 180, which obviously is too aggressive. I'm gonna start with 600, see if it knocks the shine off. If not, we'll move to 320. And I'm just gonna do the big areas. If I try to go up like these body lines, these edges, it's gonna wear through the paint really, really quick. So I'm just gonna do the big areas with the DA to save time, and then we'll go back with the Scotch-Brite. All right, start with 600. Should probably turn the compressor on. Give me a minute. Let's try this again with air pressure. I did put a mask on, try to keep some of this dust out of my nose. Yeah, that looks. Not bad. Definitely see all the sanding marks. Let's try it with 320. Just see what happens. We'll do a little lighter though. Not bad. You can already see the brown poking through though. So if you want to go back to the 600, or maybe I should just do this whole dang thing in Scotch-Brite. I don't know. Hard to say. I think because the paint is uneven, because obviously I didn't sand anything beforehand. Maybe Scotch-Brite will be a little better to get into places. That's okay. I don't mind the worn look. It's actually what we want. I think Scotch-Brite's better though. All right. Guess I'll just wear my arm out. Just a few minutes of work, a night and day difference. I don't know how well this shows up on camera, but I think it's pretty obvious how much duller this one is compared to this one. And we're already getting, just this little bit of work, we're already getting some wear and some texture to it. So you can see the brown poking through already, which is fine. I don't mind that. If you look at the other doors, they're obviously thin paint and the primer showing through, which is what we want. We've got to be extra careful though. Remember what I said about staying away from the edges. I'm already getting through the blue in some spots, which is fine. We're going to do that in some areas. Like for instance, here, I've already got some brown through. And then of course again here, and a little bit on this front edge. That's okay. Like I said, we want this to be weathered. We want it to be worn. We want the paint to be thin. If you look at this door, like for instance, it clearly looks like window down, somebody's been grabbing the door to shut it. I want to kind of mimic that all the way around the edges. pretty much. The primer and brown is showing through. Again, we're going to try to mimic that as best as possible. But first step turned out really good. I ended up doing the Scotch-Brite on the whole thing and then hit it with the 600 again just to kind of smooth everything out. Do the same thing with this one. Then we'll see about getting these mounted. More of the same on the driver's side door. Turned out pretty good. Got to be more careful on these edges. We are already getting through the brown. I did make one mistake here where I went all the way through to bare metal. I need to be a lot more careful. I know I said it and then didn't do it, but these things happen. So next step, I think we're going to try to get these doors mounted. Make sure our colors match as best as possible. Remember, it's all going to get clear coated, and again, this paint doesn't really match that paint that well, and I'm sure the cab doesn't match the fenders perfectly. So as long as it's close enough, I'll be happy. Big issue I have with hinges, if you watch the video where we did the new steps, which I need to vacuum off, it's dirty, both lower nuts, they have a captured nut, kind of like this. These tabs just broke off, so the nut spun. So I ended up having to cut the old hinge and reach in behind and get a hold of it to get the nut out. I don't really have a good way to get in here. I'm going to attempt to see if I can get a serrated nut started. That should grab the metal and allow me to tighten it later. But for now, let's see if we can get it in there. Lower hinge has a bolt that comes in from the outside. I have the factory ones here. We're going to reuse those. The rest of it, I've got new hardware and whatnot to try. The problem is, can I get my finger in here to hold the nut in place to start a bolt? This factory used all fine thread, which I'm not going to concern myself with too much, and especially since I don't have fine thread castle nuts, or excuse me, serrated nuts. How the heck, maybe a magnet might work. I'll hold the nut like that with a magnet. Hopefully I can hold it in the area that will work. You can actually reach down from the top, but I believe the hinge is in the way. I can't get my hand all the way down. The top nut on the other side actually had to take the I don't know what you call it, the square nut out of the top on the other side, but I can easily get to that from up top. I don't know if I can get enough angle to get this started though. I might have to use a longer bolt, but I don't know if I have a longer bolt that doesn't have a shoulder that's, you know, threaded all the way down. Let me see if I have something longer. I do. Let's try that. Really probably need a washer on this as well. All right, try again. Uh-oh. I thought about welding a washer to a nut, just a couple tack welds, and then drill a couple small holes, tack weld the washer through the sheet metal, but this needs to be able to move in and out in order to adjust the door. That's not going to work. This doesn't seem to be working either. Can I just hold it? Maybe. Maybe even with the shorter bolt. And just get it started. I can't. All right, now that nut, because of the serrations on the back of it, will grab the sheet metal and allow me to tighten it down without using a wrench. All right. Fine thread here. Factory bolt on the outside. Please. Passenger side hinges are installed. I just used the outline of the original, kind of the rusty spot of the original hinge, line them up there, snug these down. We'll use that as a starting point. If we have to move this door in or out a little bit, we'll be doing it with this bolt, these bolts, and then sorry about the light, but moving the door front to back as well as twisting we'll do with these bolts that mount through the inside of the door. So I'm gonna go knock out the other hinges on the other side real quick, and I'm probably gonna have to get the boss lady out here because I can't hold the door and start bolts and all that stuff at the same time. I'm gonna need some help. Hinges are all snug down, ready to go, at least in a general vicinity. Got the boss lady out to help me hang the doors. These hinges are slotted on the very end. The last little one is slotted, so I think we're gonna start a couple bolts to see if we can get them to you know, line up. Might make lining the other bolts up easier. I set the rack leg to roughly the same height as the rocker. So instead of using a floor jack, I'm gonna try to use the lift arm to help hold the door for me. So I think we stand the door up. I think there's a panel on the bottom that covers the lower hinge. We'll have to pop that off real quick, start a couple bolts, slide it on. At least there's no glass and all that stuff in it, so slide it on first.
You're doing that. Can't say that.
Okay, good. Alright, so we get the other bolt started. Can't see anything. Up. Up. Up more. Keep going. Can you go up even a bunch? Like a whole bunch? A whole bunch more than that?
No.
Not really? Alright, go back down. So this bottom hinge is angling down. I think it's twisted in the thing. So I'm trying to loosen this hinge out. get in, I'm going to attempt to align this door at least semi-close. Grabbing the racket. Okay. Need to come back on this whole thing. Try that. We'll start with that. Nothing. Better. I mean, we got to do a lot of work on these hinges. But it gets us close. Let's fine tune the hinges and all that. But the whole door is kind of like that. You see how big of a gap there is. We got to bring the front up. Obviously we're hitting up here. So we'll have to do some tinkering. That bottom corner seems to line up okay. That's going to be a hassle of loosening and tightening and adjusting and all that. It's going to take a little while. So after a little time, we got the door on and fitting pretty good. There is a little bit of a gap up here, but if you notice the aftermarket door kind of kicks back at the very top edge. If I go back too much further, that actually rubs. As well as it sits out just a little bit on the top front edge. But if I push in on it, I already actually made this better. I put a 2x4 in here and forced the top of the door over. But if I push in here, it flexes the back of the door bottom out. Other than that, that seam is okay, other than it's a little wider at the top. It matches our rocker pretty well. This front edge is a little iffy. So I don't know if I need to bring this hinge in just a hair more. But I don't know what it'll do back there is my issue. And then this captured nut here is not moving very well. It's a little difficult to get this in. I may have to take this captured nut out and just put a regular nut in there. So I have more movement to get the door in a little farther. Other than that, our colors don't really match. It's not bad. It's not terrible. Part of the problem, I think, is the shade of the lift arm happens to be right on the door. Where's the light? So with some light on it, it's a little bit better, but not a lot. I'm not sure what to do. This is this color paint. Obviously that's 67 years old and this isn't. I have been doing some reading, and Ajax or Comet wash it will dull that paint down. I think we're just going to continue on and see what happens. We're going to weather the doors, bring out some of that brown. I did, without realizing, have a box cutter in my pocket, and the little clip that clips on the belt or whatever. Put some scratches in the door, which is good. That's what we want. We want to add character like this door's been used. So I think from here, we're just going to keep sanding and wearing and bring out the brown across the bottom. Looks kind of cool. I don't know how well that shows up. It looks like thin paint. And I think after we sand everything and put marks on it and everything, we'll try the Comet wash or Ajax or whatever we have. I might have to go get something and see if we can dull the entire door. And if the entire door kind of dulls down, then matches enough, then we'll run with it. If not, like I said, I'm not really excited about cutting door skins apart. There's inner structure and all that. It's going to end up being a nightmare, and I don't want to ruin both sets. The other option would be put the rotten doors back on and just run it. But let's see how this goes. Let's see what happens. I ain't giving up yet. So I think we'll start with causing some wear. So remember on the other door, a bit of wear, brown showing through, where it looked like obviously somebody's been grabbing the door and closing it. We've already got a little bit there where we've kind of worn through with the Scotch-Brite. So let's start. This is 180. It might be too aggressive. I do have some 320. We're going to start here, see if we can kind of make some of that brown pop through. There's some. Again, I'm staying away from the edges. This a little closer. Not using a lot of pressure. Kind of get us started there. Switch to some 320. We kind of feather this a little bit. Again, I'm trying not to go through the brown as best as possible. Work in different angles. Something along those lines. Then we can come back again. Scotch-Brite. See if we can just kind of soften this up a bit. Doesn't look too bad. We're just going to pick some areas. Kind of like the idea on the other one, the other door. Oops. It was kind of worn in this area here. I don't know. It's kind of got those straight lines. I don't know if that's best, but where did my green piece go? can't really get it right down in that edge like I want to. I'm a little afraid of going through the brown. But that doesn't look bad. Add some more on the top edge. Like that. That's going through. I think we stopped there. A little bit of a get through. It's real easy to get through, but that's all right. I think I know there's some methods of using like vinegar and salt and stuff on bare metal to make it actually flash rust. I think we're gonna try that on a couple bare spots that I accidentally created on the bed that we talked about earlier. And I think it was the other door, that front edge. We're gonna try it and see what happens. All right, now we'll do the same thing along this edge, across the top of here. I've already got some brown poking through down low. If you stand back and look at it, it doesn't look terrible. Our color is still off, I get that. But bringing out some of that brown, same as the roof. I'm not sure what happened with the texture here. I'm not sure what to do about that because we're already getting through into the black. Again, not the end of the world. The whole thing is obviously not perfect. And making it look wrong and damaged and marks and all that stuff is kind of the way it's supposed to be. As far as I know, I don't do this normally. This is just trying it and see what happens. So I guess from here, I'm gonna go around, just kind of wear most of this edge out. It's worn pretty much all the way around the other doors, just kind of like we did here. It's got just kind of a brown line. I'm going to do that on probably 75% of the door. Just rough it up a bit. I feel like these flatter areas turn out way better than trying to get into the edges. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's not really warm back there. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. So I want some random marks here and there to make it look used and worn. For instance, where I scratched the door by mistake with the box cutter. Let's see if we can do a little spot like that. And then I'm going to do something a little crazy. Let's feather first. Didn't put much. Whoa! Didn't put much of a ding in it, but it did put a ding in it. A little smaller punch here. I'm going to angle this, see if we can put a divot in it. Oh, put a scratch in it. That's fine too. Here. Now what? What if somebody drug a brush across it? I don't really know what else to do besides just be mean to it. We want it to have wear. We want it to be neglected. Well, not neglected, but used as well as the rest of it has. There's dents and dings and scratches and all that stuff. So I guess we dent and ding and scratch some more. Like maybe a 2x4 hit it. Didn't really do anything. Maybe somebody threw a hammer at it. That worked. Got a scratch, got a little ding. How about a handful of 5/16 bolts? Look like a used door now.
The next clip, where I show and explain our progress, I accidentally did on time lapse. So I inserted some still pictures to show how it turned out. The brown looks pretty good. I think once the other primer spots on the cap are sanded and cleaned up, it'll match pretty good. The dents and dings make the door look like it's been used rather than just a smooth panel. I know it's hard to see, but the brown coming through makes the paint look thin. The problem is that the blue is just too dark. So next we're going to try to see if we can dull or fade it. I didn't have any comments, so I used Barkeeper's Friend, which is a similar product.
So that should be a pretty good view of the two different colors. Spraying that same soapy water on a rag. I don't know how to do this without creating a shadow. It's just going to be the way it is. But put some of this on a rag. It's kind of clumpy. I don't know how well this will work. The information on the back says it removes oxidization, but it's also for like stainless and that kind of stuff. But it does have a mild abrasive in it. So let's see what happens. We'll do kind of a small area here. See if it creates that dullness. Not the rest of it has. It is removing blue. Not really. It's shinier. All right. I guess we try it back here then. We'll let that dry for a few minutes, see what it looks like. Well, guys and gals, I think I failed. The bar, what's that stuff called? Barkeeper's friend didn't seem to do really anything. It's still way too dark. I've tried several different things. I put some up across the top here, let it sit for a little while, and hoping it would kind of fade the paint. It didn't. We're just too dark all the way around. When the fenders were sitting over there by the door, it looked darker, so we just kind of tossed it on here to see if it was more matched to the fenders. It's not. It's all lighter than what we sprayed. Excuse me. So I'm chalking this one up as a failure. It's not the end of the world. It happens, right? I am 110% an amateur, and I'm definitely not a painter. So we have a couple options. I think we're going to go get some white paint and try to mix. We only used about a third of what the canister that we bought. I think we're going to try to add some white to it and lighten it up and keep mixing until the paint stick matches closely. And then probably spray a couple test strips. I have some sheet metal around, and see if that works. If not, I do have this panel that was cut off of the firewall. If you watch previous videos, this is where the steering column and brake and clutch pedal were. This matches, even though it was under the hood, this matches really, really, really close. So if mixing white paint in doesn't work, we can always have the paint store scan this and mix us up some paint like this. So I think behind the scenes here, between videos, we're going to try that. Try the white paint. If that seems to work, then we'll revisit this. If not, then we'll scan that and we'll do this all over again. Before this video, I did do a test panel that's spray paint, and it's way too bright. So this is round 2 that didn't really work out. I was hoping I could fade this paint, but I can't find a way to do it. Can you turn that light?
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah, I was hoping I could fade this paint. I did a lot of research, a lot of searching. There's all kinds of information on removing oxidation, but not anything about fading paint. A lot of restoring faded paint, but not making paint look more faded. And everything I did find was lighten your paint before you apply it, which I didn't. So, unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow, so we're gonna have to end this video here because that's just the way it is. It didn't work out. I was hoping it would, but that's okay. Other than that, the actual patina part of it looks pretty dang good. Throwing bolts at it seemed to work pretty good. That was the funnest part of the whole video, really. Throwing stuff at the new door. The brown is a little more bronzish than the actual other paint. Up here it matches pretty well. I don't know. Maybe we can blotch some stuff in. We'll revisit it. I tried several different things down here, and all I did was bring more brown out, which makes the panel look darker. So it is what it is. So like, comment, subscribe if you want to see me fail some more. Whatever, it happens.
It's not really a failure. You tried.
Trying is 100% not a failure. Anything to add?
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. I kind of cut her off, sorry. Brains all over the place. Like, comment, subscribe, like I said. Share your videos with family and friends. And we'll see you guys next time.